Dear students in grade 9, good afternoon. Welcome to our English seminar for today, in which we are going to talk about the final exam. I mean the rubrics, the form of the final exam. And of course, we'll be ready to receive your calls by using the numbers shown at the bottom of the screen. So please be ready and try to ask any question about the whole course. Well, dear students, dear colleagues, let me first welcome my colleagues in the studio who are going to participate in this seminar, Mr. Mazen Abdul Karim and Mr. Jamal Haddal, English teachers in the Damascus Countryside Directorate. Good afternoon, dear colleagues.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to our seminar for today.
Thank you.
Well, dear students, as you know, a lot of students ask about the final exam, and I'm sure that they have a good idea about the final exam, but maybe some of the students don't have an idea about this. Maybe we can, let's say, talk about the final exam question by question, and at the same time we can give some pieces of advice to the students how they deal with each question, what is required from each question. So let me start with you, Mr. Mazen.
Yes.
As you can see, dear students, in the first paper, in the final exam, you will be given two sheets of paper, two papers. In the first paper, there are two texts. The first text, of course, you have to do a number of tasks, two tasks only. So the first task, as you can see, is to answer three questions, direct questions about the text, and then you have to do another task which is related to the meanings of some vocabulary in the text. Mr. Mazen, please, would you please talk about the first text? Of course, we have prepared here an exam. It was done last year, in the year 2019. So please, Mr. Mazen.
Yes, dear students in the 9th grade, the first question, we have a text and we have two questions. The first one, you have to choose from A, B, or C. And the second one, you have to link between the words that we have underlined words and the meaning in number 4 and 5. For example, dear students, we have here a text about Ahmed. The first question, Ahmed flew to Egypt to visit his relatives, classmates, friends. So we have to read the text first, and then we have to find the answer, which is the relatives. So here in the text, Mr. Basil, we have his parents were taking him to visit his cousins.
Yes.
His cousins mean his relatives.
Good.
Question number 2.
So the student here has to read the text very well, understand the main ideas.
The main idea.
And the questions will be very clear. They will ask about main ideas in the text,
yes,
or some details in the text. Okay, of course, we should mention also that 50 marks will be allotted to this question, will be given to this question, right? And 50 marks to the second text. I mean, yes, each number is given 10 marks. Yes.
The second question, he felt bored when, before, after flying into the air.
So here, yes, he has to go back to the
text. He has to go back to the text and to read it, and before they left the ground, he almost became bored. Yes. So before, the answer is before.
Because here, in the text, Mr. Mazen, it mentions that there is a sentence here, once on the plane,
yes,
before they left the ground, he almost became bored. Yeah. It is very clear.
Yes.
So he became bored before flying into the air.
Yes.
Yes.
The third one, in Ahmed's opinion, the view from the view of the city from the plane was terrible, fantastic, terrifying. We have to go back to the text. Seeing the plane rise to the air was magical. Ahmed will never forget the view of the city. So from the sky was wonderful. So wonderful, the same meaning as fantastic.
Okay. We have a call. Shahid, good afternoon. Shahid, good afternoon. Shahid,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, Shahid.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
I have 5 questions.
5 questions, my God. Okay, the first question, please.
The first question, when we write about a health diary.
When we write about a health diary,
We say
okay.
on Sunday, on Monday, and when we say the last day, which is Saturday, we say and on Saturday or on Saturday.
We say before days, we use on. The preposition which is used before days is on. Okay? Would you please give me an example, Shahid? Give me an example. Can you?
We say on Saturday I had a meal or.
Okay. On Saturday I do so and so. On Sunday I do so and so. On Monday, etc. So before days we use on. Okay?
Okay.
What is your second question, Shahid? Your second question? Question number 2.
Okay.
Shahid?
When we use a lot of, we mean a singular noun or a plural noun?
Of course, a lot of refers to something plural. We can't say a lot of man, for example. We say a lot of people. We can't say a lot of chair. We say a lot of chairs, a lot of people, right? But maybe if the noun is uncountable, like sugar, coffee, water, money, we say a lot of money, a lot of sugar, etc. Okay, Shahid?
Okay.
Good.
And on page 62 in the activity book.
What is your question? Because we don't have the books now, I'm sorry.
Exercise number 6.
Exercise number 6. Would you please read the question?
The sentence number 2.
There are no books, of course. Okay. Would you please read the question? Read it. Can you?
That is our teacher. Okay, what is the question tag?
The question tag.
Yes.
Okay. The question tag, Shahid.
Sentence.
Yes, when we... Mr. Mazen, please.
Shahid, finish.
Okay.
Yes.
You can answer
yes,
the question about the question
tags,
tag.
Yes, it's very easy. Just we make inversion between the subject and the auxiliary. For example, I can speak English, can't I? And if the sentence is negative, we make it affirmative. For example, he isn't at home, is he?
Of course, here, Mr. Mazen, if we can use the laptop, here, number 20, there is a question about the question tag, number 20.
Yes.
He's eaten all the biscuits. So here,
Hasn't he?
we should use has in the negative form.
Yes.
Hasn't he? I hope Shahid is still following us. So Shahid, when we use or when we want to make a question tag, we use an auxiliary verb and we use a pronoun, not a noun. Of course, if the sentence is in the affirmative form, we use the question tag in the negative form. If the sentence is negative, we use the question tag in the affirmative form, and that's it. So simple. It depends on the tense of the sentence. Here the tense is present perfect, so we have to use the auxiliary verb has. So we say hasn't he. That's it. Let's go back. Lujain, another call. Good afternoon, Lujain. Lujain.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you, Lujain?
I'm fine.
Okay, your question, please. Your question? Okay, no call. Mr. Mazen, let's continue. Let's go back to the first text, please.
The first text, we have fantastic, which is the same as wonderful. So
Yes.
students should be careful about this question because it does not always the same as the text. They may given the
We usually don't
equal
use
meaning.
the same words
The same words.
as in the text. We
No.
maybe use equivalents. I mean,
Equivalents.
some words which have the same, meaning,
The equal
of
meaning,
the words
yes.
found in the text. So here in the text, we have magical, right, Mr. Mazen?
Yes.
So seeing the plane rise into the air was magical.
Magical,
So
yes.
the view was fantastic to Ahmed. According to Ahmed, the view from the plane was wonderful, fantastic, very nice, something positive, not negative. Okay. What else? The second task now.
The second task, choose two of the underlined words in the text to suit their definition below. So, dear students, here we have to read the underlined words. For number 1, flight. Number 2, perhaps. Number 3, rise. Now we have to read the question number 4, journey made by air. Just, you know, journey is the same as a flight. It's not perhaps. It's not rise. So, the same meaning in different words.
Good. So a flight means a journey made by air.
Yes.
Yes.
Number 5, go upwards, reach a high level. Students, dear students, here also they have to pay attention that we have here go, which is a verb. So we have to look for a verb in the text, which is rise, the same meaning. So usually we have the same form of the word in the text and the question. Verb, you have to look for a verb. Adjective, you have to look for an adjective.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Mazen. So here, as we said, dear students, we have 50 marks allotted or given to this text, or the two tasks about the first text. Of course, here we have 5 numbers, from number 1 to number 5. Mr. Jamal, what about the second text, please? What is required from the second text? What are the 2 tasks related to the second text?
Okay, dear students, in our second task, we have a text and we have 2 tasks. The first task is to write true or false, T or F. The students obviously has to read the 3 sentences, number 6, 7, and 8, and link them to the text and check if these sentences are true or maybe they are not, obviously.
Good.
Let's see the second task. Answer the following questions. We have 2 questions related to the text. Obviously, the student has to answer the questions from the text.
Is it necessary, Mr. Jamal, for the students, I mean, to write, let's say, a complete sentence? I mean, to use a subject, a verb, an object, a complete sentence? It's not necessary,
No.
of course, because here the 2 questions ask about specific information. The student is free. He can give the information in 2 words sometimes, 3 words,
Yes.
not in a complete sentence. Just give the required information, the specific information required from this question. That's it. For example, here, what qualities should a top scientist have in the king's opinion?
If we link this question to the text, you can find 2 answers. The first one, I'm looking for a top scientist or the certain qualities which are the scientist must be, or just the answer,
Yes,
imaginative, decisive, and courageous.
That's it. So these are the qualities required, or the king wants from the scientist, from the top scientist, right?
Yes.
These are the qualities he wants, right? So he can say here, I mean the student can write imaginative, decisive, and courageous. That's it.
Yes.
Or the top scientist must be so and so.
Exactly.
So the
he give
student is free.
a full answer.
Just give the correct
Answer.
answer or the required information. Good. Again, from number 6 to number 8,
Let's
the first
start.
3 statements.
Write true T or false if. The servants failed to find experts in the kingdom. If we link this sentence to the text, you can see they found the most respected scientist in the kingdom.
So it is not
It's not
correct,
true.
because
it's
they
false.
found scientists.
Exactly.
They found experts in the kingdom. Good.
Let's see number 7. The king wanted his kingdom to be famous for farming. As you know, farming is growing plants. Let's link it back to the text. A king wanted his kingdom to be famous for making new scientific discoveries.
That will change the world.
The
So
world.
not in farming.
Exactly.
Exactly. In science. So again,
The
sentence number 7
is false.
is false. It's not true. Here, if the student, Mr. Mazen, Mr. Jamal, wants to answer this question, if he writes T only,
It's
is his answer accepted?
Yes, accepted.
If he writes F only, the letter F,
Yes, it's
his
accepted.
answer is accepted.
Yes.
If he, let's say, try to draw a sign, I mean, just tick,
Or
his
cross.
answer is accepted. Or X,
Yes.
his answer again is accepted. Just try to refer, I mean the student, that you understand the question and you say that this sentence is correct or not correct. So if you use a sign, it's okay. If you use the first letter, T or F, it is accepted. And if you write true or false, your answer is accepted. Good. That's it. Let's try to continue.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Jamal. I think it is very clear. The two tasks in the second text are very clear for the students. Let's go on, Mr. Mazen, to the third question, which is question C.
Yes.
Here, if we read the rubric, dear students, read the following sentences and choose the correct answer. Mr. Mazen, please.
Yes, dear students, number 11 up to 14, here the students have to choose the first, between brackets, the first word or the second. And this is depends on the vocab, or it depends on grammatical information. Sometimes linking words like because so, question tags, definite
I'd like
or
to ask you,
indefinite
in fact, about the words between brackets.
Yes.
What kinds of words
Yes.
will be? I mean, here we can say very clearly, we can see that it could be a relative pronoun, which or who.
Yes.
It could be an auxiliary verb.
Auxiliary verb.
It could be a linking word. Very good. It could be an article.
Definite
It
or
could be a
indefinite.
term.
A term.
Or a noun,
Vocab.
a verb, an
Yes.
adjective.
Yes.
Many choices. We have
Yes.
many choices, in fact. So here, the student, when he reads the sentence, I think he will understand, or he will know, he'll be able to, let's say, distinguish or to determine the correct answer.
Yes.
So here, the first one, let's
Yes.
try to do it, please.
Number 11, has anyone seen my bag? You know, which who? The answer is which, because before which we have bag, which is things. And you know, dear students, we use which for things and we use who for people. Yes.
Good. So here, the correct answer is which, because we are talking about a bag, not a
yes,
human being.
yes.
Good.
Number 12, you must do your homework in a hurry to avoid mistakes. So here we have shouldn't, which is, refers to advice, not to do this or that, and must, which is used to give information which you are forced on you.
Good. Excuse me, we have another call. Shahid, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you, Shahid?
I'm fine.
Good. Your question, please.
اختيار بس بالجملة you must or have to remember to ask the correct traditional.
You must or you have to
Remember to ask the
what?
correct
The colleagues, your colleagues, okay.
punctually.
What? Sorry? The last word? The last word.
تمام.
The last word, would you please repeat it?
Repeat the sentence.
You must
or have to.
or have to. I think here both of them, Shahid, are accepted, because if the speaker wants to express obligation, you say you must write,
Yes.
you must tell. If the speaker wants to express, let's say, something else, a necessity, for example,
Yes.
we can, both of them refer to obligation, but must is a strong word, maybe have to is a kind of maybe mild obligation. So in this case, Shahid, must and have to are both accepted, are both correct. So there won't be a question like this in the final exam, because the sentence you read is not correct or is not suitable for the final exam. Why? Because both answers are accepted. Both answers are correct.
Okay.
Okay, Shahid?
Okay.
So in the final exam, it will be clear. If you look at with me at sentence number 12, for example, here. Can you see it, Shahid? You shouldn't or must here.
Thank you.
Of course, shouldn't, we use should for advice, as Mr. Mazen said. You shouldn't do your homework in a hurry, or you must do your homework in a hurry. Which one is correct? To avoid mistakes. So to avoid mistakes, in order not to make mistakes, of course, we shouldn't do our homework in a hurry. Right, Shahid? So here, the answer is very, very clear. We can't say here, for example, you must, you have to, in the same, or between brackets, use the same words, because the same words, the same auxiliary verbs can be used for the same expression. So it is wrong to ask such a question in the final exam. Thank you very much. Let's go on. Mr. Mazen, please.
Number 13, the weather is so bad. We have because so. We are not going to the beach. So because we have here, we haven't a reason. We have the result. We have to use so. So we are not going to the beach.
Okay. Before we go on, the control has just received a call. They have received a call. A student asked about the compositions. When we reach the composition, of course, the question, we will talk about compositions, but for the time being, I can say, she asked, maybe a student asked, what compositions are required for the final exam? All compositions in units 1 to 10 are required for the final exam, dear students. Compositions in unit 9 and in unit 10, unit 11 and unit 12 are not required. I mean the last two units, unit 11, unit 12, the texts in these two units are not required for the final exam, as well as the compositions. So the compositions in the last two units are not required. What is required is any composition which is mentioned or found from unit 1 to unit 10. Thank you very much. Mr. Mazen, please.
The last one, Damascus is the capital of Syria. You know, because we have Damascus, and it's it's well known that the answer is the capital of Syria.
Because we have only one Damascus,
capital,
so one capital,
and
Damascus is the capital of Syria,
yes.
Not any other city.
Yes.
So here we can't use a, of course. We say, okay, Homs, for example, is a city in Syria.
Yeah.
Hama is a city in Syria, because we have many cities, and it is one of many.
Yes,
right?
example.
But here it is the only capital, so we should use the, not a, dear students. We have another call. Lubana, good afternoon. Lubana, good afternoon, Lubana.
Hello.
Lubana, good afternoon. Lubana,
Good afternoon.
How are you, Lubana?
I am fine.
Good. Your question, please.
On page 79,
Okay.
exercise number 3.
About what? Because here now, today, we are talking, Lubana, about the final exam. So would you please read the question? Read the question.
Read the sentence.
Read it, read
Exercise
it.
number 3, listen and complete this text.
Okay, read the sentence, please. About what? Read it, read it.
Number 2, and Italy, Spain, and Northern Europe are
Sorry.
by Germany therapist.
I'm sorry, you have to read the sentence very well. We couldn't follow you. The sentence again, Lubana. Read the sentence very clear, please. Again.
Slowly, slowly.
Slowly.
Spain and Northern Europe are
By the time I can't
Spain
understand
and
you.
Northern Europe are
What is the question about? About what? I'm sorry, I can't understand you. Camille, okay. Sorry, Lubana, I can't hear you. Camille, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you, Camille?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, your question, please.
I have a question. In fact, since and for, I can or cannot use since always.
Since and for. You mean you want the difference between since and for? The difference between them?
Yes.
Okay. Dear colleagues, Mr. Mazen, please.
Yes, the difference between since and for, you know, when we have a long period, duration,
yes,
we use for. For example, I have lived in Damascus for 14 years, 5 years, 6 years. I have been reading for 6 hours. But when we say, when we use since, we use it for
a point of time.
Point of time. We have the beginning of this time.
From that time till now.
Yes, from that time till now. Example, I have lived in Damascus since 1990. I have been reading since 7 o'clock.
Good.
I have been living in Damascus since I was born.
Good.
So,
okay, Camille?
Okay.
So after since, we use a point of time. A point of time could be, as Mr. Mazen said, an hour. I mean, we can say since 8 o'clock. It could be a day, since last Friday.
Yes.
It could be a week, since last week. A month, since last June. And a year, since 1990. Or we can use after since a clause in the past, since I was born.
Yes.
I have known Jamal since I was born, for example. Okay? But after for, we use a duration, 2 weeks, 3 days, 5 years. Is it clear, Camille?
No.
Clear or not?
I have another question.
Okay, your second question.
Use a with countable noun or uncountable noun.
Mr. Jamal, please.
Usually we use a with singular nouns. We can use it with plural at all. For example, let's refer to the example that my colleague said. Homs is a city in Syria. As you can see, a city. I can't say a cities.
So a and an are used before singular nouns.
Exactly.
And they must be countable nouns. Okay, Camille?
Okay, okay.
So that's it. Can we use a or an before uncountable nouns?
No,
of
no.
course. We can't say a sugar or a coffee or a water. No, it is wrong to say that because these nouns are uncountable. A and an are used only before countable nouns and they must be singular, okay, nouns. Clear, Camille?
Clear.
Good. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Wish you good luck. Let's go back to dear colleagues. The next question, I think it is question 4, question D. Here, choose the correct answer A, B, or C to complete the following dialogue. So the student here is given a dialogue, right,
Yes.
Mr. Jamal?
Now, dear students, you have 4 sentences, and these sentences are formed in a dialogue. The first one usually contains a question. The rest of them are usually required to do auxiliaries. Let's try the first one, Maher. Is wrong with you? Who's wrong with you? Where is wrong with you? What
depends
wrong with
on
you?
the answer.
Exactly.
So your advice, please.
My advice, dear student, if you are confused, you can simply read sentence 16. I suffering from a bad toothache. So it's obviously that the
Speaker or
speaker or number 15 is asking what? You're asking
is
about
wrong with you?
what's
About
wrong
an
with
issue,
you?
about
an
something,
issue.
a
About
matter.
here,
Yes.
he's asking him about an illness.
Yes.
Number 16. I suffering from a bad toothache. Do, am, have. Dear students, it's obviously that this sentence contains present continuous. So you need to use the auxiliary am.
We can't say I do suffering.
No, exactly. I mean, obviously.
Or I have suffering from a bad, I have. No, because here we have an ing, right? We say I am suffering from. Yes.
Number 17, Maher, you should go or to at the dentist. The correct answer is to, because now you're going to a place. The dentist, after all, regardless of being a person, it's a place. So you're going to the place of the dentist.
Good.
18, Anas, sure. Would you please go with mine, and me? Please note, dear students, that in this case we have the pronoun you, which is the subject, so I need an objective pronoun, which is me, because I am the objective. Using my, which is possessive pronoun, is absolutely wrong, and even using mine as an
Good.
possessive pronoun is also wrong.
So here, the student should know that me is the correct answer because he needs to use an object pronoun.
Yes.
Not a subject pronoun,
Exactly, because
not
we have
a
a subject
possessive
here.
pronoun or a possessive adjective. Because mine here is a possessive pronoun, my is a possessive adjective, and me is an object pronoun, so me is the correct answer. Here, dear students, in fact, we'd like to do an exam in front of you. Why? Because when doing the exam, we try to advise you how to, let's say, behave, what to do in each question. Here, in the dialogue, Mr. Jamal, let's go back to the dialogue. What kinds of words can the students be asked about? I mean, what kinds of words? Question words.
First,
like
question
in
word.
number 15.
Number 16, auxiliary verbs.
Prepositions.
Compositions. Number 17, exactly.
Pronouns. Articles.
Yes, article.
Exactly.
Linking
Connecting
words.
words, linking words.
Yes.
That's it. So these are the types of words that you could be asked about. Okay. Let's go on to the next question, Mr. Mazen, which is question E. Maybe some of the students find a difficulty maybe when doing this question. We know that this question is higher maybe in the level than the other questions because here the student has to write a missing word. So he has to read the sentence very well, he has to read more at home, he has to read as he can in order to be able to know the structures, to know what is needed or required in each sentence. Mr. Mazen.
Yes, dear students, this, as Mr. Bassel said, that this maybe some students get confused when doing this question. But it's very easy. You have to read all the grammar before you go to the exam. You have to read a lot of grammar.
To know a lot of structures. Grammatical.
For example, you may be asked to fill in the space tenses, auxiliary verb, is, are. You can, sometimes you have to put be after auxiliary. It will be rainy, example. Sometimes you have to put linking words.
So you are talking now, Mr. Mazen, about the kinds of words that can be, let's say, asked here in this question. In the first example, there is nothing worse than here. We know that in the comparison, where we want to compare, we say taller than, worse than, bigger than, smaller than. So here, because we have worse, a comparative adjective, the student should know that here we need than. Right? Again, the question tags are important in this question. The linking words maybe
are important.
Prepositions maybe, since, for, yet, ago. These adverbs and prepositions, all of them are important. But of course here, I mean, the word must be functional. A functional word.
It has a function in the sentence.
A grammatical function in the sentence, but not any other words. I mean, it can't be, for example, computer, an ordinary word, or Tariq, or Maher, or biscuits, or any other words. No, it is a functional word. Okay.
Number 20, he's eaten all the biscuits, hasn't he? Question tags, and we talked about this when we have affirmative, the tag is negative. When we have negative, the tag is affirmative. The last one, 21, this house is very nice, I cannot buy it. So dear students, here we have the sentence is
two clauses.
Two clauses. The sentence is full.
There is a
contrast. So we have to use but.
So we expect that when someone says that this house is very nice, we expect him that to buy it. But here we have a negative form in the second clause. So we can't say and I can't.
And you know, is wrong.
Yes. So here it is better to use but here in this
Yes,
case
yes.
because there is a contrast. But I
Contrast.
can't buy it. Maybe he has he doesn't have enough money to buy the house. He has his reasons. It's okay, but there is a contrast here.
Yes.
Let's go on to the next question, Mr. Jamal. Question F, please.
Complete each column in A with the correct choice from column B. Dear students, in this specific exercise, you have to fully understand the two columns before matching them.
Yes.
So your job here is to match sentences from column 1 to suit its meaning from column 2. Let's start with the first one. Some students bring.
So after bring, after the verb, the student here has to know that he should look for an object
Yes.
A noun.
because we have a verb here.
Yes.
So the correct answer, a bag lunch to school.
So here there must be a relation. The student must be clever enough to notice that here we are talking about some students, and students have a relation, this word I mean, has a relation with school, the word school, right?
Yes.
So, and we have the verb bring. So,
And the
It is
student
very
has
clear.
to relate the verb, object, student, school. Let's go to number 23. They told me that the journey. Now we have a journey. Let's match it with A. Took about 20 hours.
Yes.
It's obvious that there is a journey and there
it
is
needs a verb.
Yes.
It needs a verb. The
Yes.
journey took about 20 hours.
Number 24. When she was 6 years old. Let's match it to B.
We have she here.
Yes,
the
she
pronoun.
began studying painting.
Yes.
Number 25, I'm looking forward to. Now I'm looking for a verb.
So looking forward to, after the verb look forward to, we use
The gerund.
a gerund, an ing form. Very good. So here-
You know, a gerund or a noun.
yes, a gerund or a noun. So here we have a gerund.
Yes.
So here, I'm looking forward to seeing my cousins. Exactly. Thank you very much. Of course, I'd like to remind the students that each number in the final exam is given 10 marks.
Yes.
Each number is given 10 marks. What about the next question? Question G, Mr. Mazen, which is about tenses now.
Yes.
Yes.
Dear students, here the question is about tenses or about if the clause or reported speech or yes, this is. So you have to read the sentence carefully and try to find indicators, I mean something which come with this tense, an adverb. For example, number 26, they are preparing for the party at the moment. Anyway, prepared is simple past. We cannot use it with the word at the moment, so the answer is preparing.
We use at the moment or now with the present continuous or
yes.
progressive. Yes.
Number 27, he was driving fast when he crashed into a tree. You know, we have past continuous.
In the first clause.
The first clause, the second clause, we link it to something in the past. Crashes.
Not crashes, of course. Yes,
crashes is simple present.
Exactly.
It is wrong. We use crashed because it is simple past.
Good. So here, maybe, again, some students don't have an idea about the compound sentences. Maybe they know about simple sentences only, and they begin to look for a keyword to know which tense to be chosen. But here we have a compound sentence, dear students. You should know about compound sentences. Compound sentences mean that they have two clauses, two parts. So you have to read the first part in the sentence. It is, as Mr. Mazen said, it is in the past continuous. So that's why we should use a past form in the second sentence or in the second part. So it is crashed, not crashes.
Yes. Number 28, he lived in the same house since the year 2000. So the answer is has lived because, as you know, we have since and it is used in the present perfect or present perfect continuous.
Good.
Number 29, if I had time, I will visit, I would visit you. Dear students, you know, we have 3 types of if clause, but 2 types are required in the 9th grade.
Yes.
Yes.
First conditional and second conditional.
Yes. The first one, when we have if plus present, the main clause is subject, future, simple future. The second type, when we have if plus simple past, had or were or any just for past simple,
we use conditionals in the second form.
The second
part.
Would plus verb 0.
Yes, exactly.
If I had time, the answer is I would visit you.
Why? Because here the verb in the if clause
is simple past.
Is in the past simple.
Yes.
So that's why we should use would visit, not will visit.
Yes.
The last one.
The last one, he said he was going to visit his aunt. So, dear students,
it is a reported speech.
And you know, after said, we use only past tenses.
Past tense.
Yes.
So here is going to is wrong.
Is wrong.
Was going to is the correct answer because here we have the verb or the reporting verb said.
Said.
Right?
Yes.
So here we usually use the past form after said or asked.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jamal,
yes.
Now before we go on to the last question, we have another call. Batul, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you, Batul?
I'm fine.
Good. Your question, please. Batul? Okay.
We are sorry.
It is cut. Okay.
Okay,
again,
complete the following dialogues. Write the questions. Please note, dear student, that you are given 2 tasks. The first task is to write the questions. The second task is to write the answers. Please note, dear students, some of you find difficulties in this specific task. Let's see number 31, for example. Sami, you have to write the question. Ahmed, our last trip was to Latakia. Please, dear student, think what you should ask about in this sentence.
Sorry, Batul again. Sorry, Mr. Jamal. Good afternoon, Batul.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, your question, please.
Okay, in the activity book.
We don't have books. You have to read the question, Batul.
Okay. It's an attack question.
What?
The exercise says you've been to Paris and Rome.
Sorry?
We say, haven't you or don't you?
Okay.
Read the sentence.
Read the sentence. Read the whole sentence. Complete.
You've been to Paris and Rome.
You have been to Paris. Yes, Shahad, you have been to Paris, haven't you? This is a question
Okay,
tag.
haven't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Some teachers said we should say, don't you?
Oh, no.
Oh, here, if the sentence, Shahad, not Shahad, sorry, Batul.
Batul.
If the sentence is in the past simple, we should use didn't. If it is in the present perfect, we should use has or have. If it is in the past perfect, we use had or hadn't. But if we use an auxiliary verb, a modal verb, for example, you have to come on time. We have to come on time, right? Don't we? Here we use don't. Why? Because here we have a modal auxiliary verb, okay? Okay, that's it. That's it.
You
so
know,
here,
Batul, when we have as an just ordinary verb, like I have to go, or I have...
we use don't.
We use don't. I have a car, don't I? But when we have after have or has, verb
Exactly.
3, use it the same. I have been to Damascus,
Okay,
haven't
Batul?
I?
I mean, when we use have as a main verb, I have a car, you have a car, don't you? Because have here is not an auxiliary verb, it is a main verb, an ordinary verb.
Yeah.
But when we say we have finished our seminar, haven't we? Here we use haven't. Why? Because we have verb 3 after haven't, and have here is used as an auxiliary verb to form the present perfect.
Okay.
Goodbye. Thank you
Bye.
very much.
Yes.
Okay, let's complete the
Let's
question.
go back, dear students.
here-
Ahmed, our last trip was to Latakia. What should I ask about, or what should you, dear students, ask about? In this sentence, you can ask about Latakia. Latakia is a place, so
Yes.
the answer...
Where was your last trip?
Exactly.
Because we have a place. The second
Exactly.
one, we went there to explore.
To explore,
we have
a
the
reason.
purpose.
Yes,
So
to
here-
explore the sea, so we can use why, and you have a sentence in simple, in a
Past.
present, in past simple.
past.
So why did you go
So we
there?
used it to ask about the
Okay.
past. The last one, we stayed there for a week. Here we have a duration. And to ask about duration,
we use how long.
yes, we can use the laptop. Sorry. So here, how long did you stay? Again here, the second task, write answers. Here the student is free. He can answer by using only one word or a complete sentence. For example, what time do you have lunch?
At 7 o'clock.
At 7
At
o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Or he can say,
Answer
I have
very-
lunch at 7 o'clock. Both of them are accepted, are correct. What do you have it with? Who do you have it with? My brother,
Yes.
my sister,
My family. Yes.
Or I have it with my family.
There is no specific answer.
Yes, exactly. So the student here is free. The last question, which is about composition, because we have only 1 minute, Mr. Mazen.
Yes.
I'm very sorry. Here the student is given 2 topics or 2 compositions,
Yes.
and he has to write only about one of them.
yes.
He has to choose one of them, and he has to write
Write about-
a well-organized paragraph, no more than 50 words, no more than 50 words. Of course, here in this question, the student should write, I mean, the spelling must be correct. Spelling, he should write very well, correctly. He should use correct grammar, correct punctuation marks,
Linking.
and correct capitalization, and to link between his ideas by using a linking word, the correct linking word.
Yes. Again, Mr. Basil, student should read all the composition from Unit 1 up to Unit 10. Unit 12 and Unit 11 are not required
Thank you.
text or composition.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Well, dear students, I'd like to thank all students who have called us today, and they really enriched our seminar by their questions. Well, at the end of this seminar, which is specified for the final exam, I'd like to thank my colleagues, Mr. Mazen Abdul Karim, Mr. Jamal Haddal, English
Thank you so
teachers
much.
from Damascus Countryside Directorate. Thank you very much for your participation. Dear colleagues, we wish you all the best. Goodbye. Thank you.